Record. Hey guys, welcome to the call. Tonight's Zoom call. It's actually usually my regular team call, but we opened it up to everybody tonight because I thought, the content that I was going to present tonight was something that everybody could benefit from. And, people ask all the time, like, what's the right thing to say, or how do you ask questions? They have a hard time talking to people, or maybe have a easy time to enroll people to use products, but they don't know how to turn them into business builders. And a lot of times I find it's the connecting with people. That's like the biggest thing. And, so many times we're supposed to ask a bunch of questions when we're qualifying people to see what it is that they're looking for. But we're so quick to reply because we want to make sure that we're saying the right thing. We're really not asking the questions to find out what they're looking for, right? So I really don't like this mute all thing. I'm going to unmute everybody until we show the video, because I don't like to be by myself, right? That's lonely talking to yourself. A lot of people that were on my team, Denise included, were asking me last week, what kind of questions do you ask people? And I have, kind of frustrated on how to turn people from product users into business builders. And there's not a magic formula, but what I can tell you is this. I wrote down a few things, key things that I usually, would teach someone when they first get started. And the first thing is don't be afraid to ask questions, because there's nothing really to be afraid of, right? You have to be curious in this business, and I think curiosity is the key. That was the second thing that I always look for: being curious, asking questions, listening to people, hearing what they have. Be really interested in people. The more you are interested in people, the more likely they'll tell you more about themselves. Try the obvious question. Don't go for some bizarre question. Try something that's obvious that you already maybe know about them. I think words really matter. So when you're asking questions, make sure you're mindful of how you're asking questions. And I always try to strive for empathy. So like the best conversations when you're having with people is when you're putting yourself in their shoes. That's what I mean by that. And you want to make sure, I have a list of questions, which I'll post later on, that I go by, that I keep by my phone. And it's a list of qualifying questions, but that's not always what I go by, right? It's just a guide for me. And I just kind of go with the flow, depending on the person and the situation. Tell me a little about yourself. What are your goals? How long have you been looking for, if they were looking for an opportunity, how long have you been looking for something like this? And really dig deeper into that, because those are just the outside questions. You want to dig deeper into really, why are they doing this? Why are they looking to lose weight? How would that make you feel? Kind of touch upon the feeling. The feeling is what really gives you the answers. So if you're looking for why they're losing weight, keep going, ask why. When was the last time you weighed that much? Really be interested when you're asking somebody a question, and then be informed. So if you're asking someone questions, you want to make sure you know a little bit about their background before you start asking and going into their questions. Especially if it's maybe somebody else's prospect that you're doing a three-way call for. I always like to know a little bio about the person before I do that. Try to be simple. Asking why is the easiest question to ask. And what's that like for you, I think, is a good question for me. What was that like for you when you weighed 120 pounds? Or what did that feel like for you? I think that, the feel, felt, found is really good. And just be gracious, because you know what? For people to open up to us, it's a huge thing. And I feel like we should be thankful that they're even opening up to us. I wanted to show a really, really quick short video that I found today through watching other videos. And I just thought, there was this college girl, and she had moved from California to go to college, and it was her first year. She was miserable going to college, but she never showed it on her face. Every picture, she was smiling. She looked happy. Her family thought she was happy. Her friends thought she was happy, but inside she was never really happy. But nobody ever asked her. and she formed a project actually, and I thought she was really brilliant. So I'm going to share her quick video, and then I'll open it up for questions after that, and we can share with each other. So share screen. And if you guys can't really see the screen, Stephen, just give me a text.
Hi, I'm Kalina, and this is the beginning of an experiment called Big Talk. I wanted to be able to go out, meet new people, and instead of just make small talk, actually have deeper, meaningful conversations with them. Kalina.
Get your hand on Envy.
Okay.
What do I want to do before I die? What do I want to... Oh, man. Jeez. That's a deep question.
Oh, or what do I want to do when I grow up? You mean job-wise?
That's a hard one.
Oh, that's a tough one.
Just one thing.
Well,
I want to learn how to scuba dive.
Travel the Appalachian Trail.
Go to the priest and make a confession.
I'd like to be a herpetologist. Somebody who studies reptiles and amphibians.
see my kids graduate in college.
Make every moment.
Live without any alcohol and drugs and problems, big problems like that, and just be happy day by day.
Being able to reconcile with my father and say I love you too.
I want to have a life. I wrote like an essay on it when I was in 5th grade. And I remember all my friends made fun of me because everyone was like, I want to be a sports star or a movie star. So
I'll be happy because I already lived, before I lived very bad. I was homeless for 13 years.
Maybe call a lot of my friends.
I'd probably text all my friends.
I would take a road trip to go see someone today. I can't say. I would tell them that I love them. Yeah.
Do they know you love them?
I think so.
What would I want to do today? If I was
Yeah.
to die tomorrow, if I knew I was going to die tomorrow? Be with my family.
If I knew I was gonna die tomorrow, I'd get on an airplane to go be with my son. You know, it's literally, I'll say the most significant relationship that I have. Being 18, having a baby.
If I were dying, I'd love to have Charlie on my bed. Ray was dying. He had this little fluffy dog that cuddled right next to him. I would not. Oh, that's fascinating. It's a dog park. Do you love that or what?
Be in denial, thinking it's gonna happen anyway. I can't die.
My mom said that the day before she died, that if she were to die tomorrow, she would have lived the fullest life ever. And then she died unexpectedly the next day. So this is very personal. But so family's always been of utmost importance to me.
Then when I was about 50, I guess 50, I fell in love with a woman.
Yeah, my dad's black from the South. His father was murdered by the KKK when he was 5.
Like I have two children that are 19 and 20 now. About it just seems like just yesterday, like when they were little. You know, time goes by so fast. I don't even feel like I'm really any much older, you know, than when they were kids. And
I love my life so much right now. I used to not like at all. I used to hate my life. There was this girl that I really liked, and I went up to her and basically told her that I liked her. She was like, "Oh, you're kidding, right?" And then I was like, "Oh, yeah."
I haven't really seen that.
Why do you think you're a sinner?
I am a human being.
I could at one point say I hated my father. If I had died without reconciling with my father, I think like I would definitely would not be able to sleep at night. And I think being able to do that just has brought me a lot of freedom.
family is everything. But everything else is meaningless.
People's relatives are their wealth. This is their true wealth. If you have a relative, you have to treasure them.
You have to respect the person in the world they have walked in, that they are, who they are.
Now, when you get who you are, you have the confidence and the power to do anything that you want.
I want y'all to understand this out there in TV world. You have to be 100% with yourself no matter what you do.
Walk by a stranger and never talk to them.
Yeah.
The fact that you're coming and talking is nice. It's like connection.
Thanks so much. Of course. Still talking.
Oh, is it? Okay.
She was doing my money when I get famous.
But I think I'm crying now.
Last thing, what got you guys up at sunrise for this hike?
I asked him out on a date.
This was good. I liked the ideas.
If I hadn't approached these people, I probably wouldn't have ever met them. And by choosing to make big talk instead of small talk, I was able to learn what people really care about in life.
What music should we come up with?
My favorite music is the 80s. That's my favorite.
I say what her
Almost all the
I say
80s
classical
music is
music here right now. It's just classical music playing in
Rock.
the background while you sit there
80s
holding this
rock.
little interview.
I just thought that was a really great video showing on how to connect with people. Does anybody want to share what they got from that video? I have everybody unmuted so anybody can share at any time. I don't know how to do the screen back again. Oh, I have to stop sharing my screen. That's what I have to do. Okay, perfect. There we go. So does anybody want to share?
I just listened to an amazing set of CDs that's from a company called Masterclass, and it's called Being Mortal. And it's really very interesting what the people choose when the concept comes up of what I'm going to do when I die. When we look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, going from what we as kids, what we want and what we need and what we crave, changes when we become older, more mature, and we understand that the things that we fill our life with are not as important as health and family. Those are always, when the concept of death comes up, it doesn't matter how old you are. If you ask someone who's dying from cancer, or if you ask someone who is 70 years old and who has lived a fulfilled life, our vision narrows. And with the concept of take out the noise of life, what's going on in the world, and when we focus on ourselves, the things that matter the most, our health and family. And that's always come to, and that's a key concept of what came part of this masterclass that I was doing. Nothing else really matters.
Thanks, Janine. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, I think that was incredible, because I think what I took away was just the emotional impact that took place between two people in a very relative short amount of time, where I think she can always go back to those people and they're like almost family now, because they really wanted to, they were looking for someone to impart that information to, and it's inside of them, and no one really digs deep enough to be vulnerable enough to be able to manage and handle that, and also just not have any expectations necessarily, but to kind of connect with people. So I think for me, that takes away for just going forward in 2017, kind of having more in-depth conversations with people and Stephen has talked about this before, not worried about outcome, but just kind of connecting on a human level. And I think that's kind of what I took away, was just a human connection took place there between two people. And there was love that resulted from that, some form of love and appreciation of each other. So I think that was pretty awesome.
And I think, I really think that what we do, just really talking to people and finding out what is it about them. It's not just, oh, they want to lose weight, or, oh, they want to make money, or they want to reach a goal. It's really having the relationships and building. I mean, some of the most amazing relationships we have today are with people through this gift, but it's because we've asked questions, because we're genuinely building a relationship and wanting to know more and wanting to connect on some level. And I think that's what makes what we do so amazing, because it's beyond just, you know, a sale or a this or that. It's really about getting to know people in the heart. And I mean, what a gift. What a gift.
I think for a lot of people, it's very difficult to step over that threshold of asking the questions. And what we've got to learn is to put assumptions aside. We very often people assume, oh, maybe they don't want to speak, you know, they want to be left alone, they don't want to be spoken to. But most people, when you dig a little deeper and you just connect on a certain level, if you can find that connection, and it doesn't have to be it's very difficult in a normal conversation when you're interacting with people already to say, or out of the blue, what do you want to do before you die? You know, but it's finding that connection, that question that's going to draw them out from their shell and then connecting with them on that level.
I have very few words.
Well, there are a few questions that you can ask that, you know, bring people to their feelings. And like I was saying earlier, you know, what was that like for you? How did that make you feel? And if you dig deep into this girl was brilliant. She was a college student. And she said she always wanted to feel like she could talk to people like she was on vacation. So when you're on vacation, you're relaxed, you're happy, you talk to everybody, you're able to make conversations. Why do we get so hung up in regular life?
Right, there's no need to be.
That's all we need to do is just really be curious about people and talk to people. And, you know, it's a lot of this business, it's not even about the products, you know, it's their connection with you. I really believe that. I don't know if anyone else wants to share what they got from the video.
I think sincerity is really important because her questions came from a very sincere place. So when we can convey sincerity, we convey credibility and interest and empathy. And empathy is a really important part to connect with humans on a human level.
Stephen, you want to share? I think you muted yourself out.
A couple of things. One, I thought it was interesting when it just was, you know, what do you want to do before you die? And then she put a time frame into it, like tomorrow. And I liked the guy who was homeless, who just had joy. Like, I'm just going to be joyous. Because if it was tomorrow, you may not have an opportunity to go meet your family. You know, I think the choice of your attitude around the day is what's most important. And oftentimes I'll do that when I'm in an experience. I'll look at it as like, you know, I just got a new chance at life. Like, what if I was just here back from the first time and I wasn't supposed to be here, which, you know, my story. So and I just did it today. Just meeting Lisa on a spur of the moment, going out to dinner into this new environment, this Mexican restaurant. I just enjoyed every moment of it and staying present. I find that it's great that we have intentions around connecting with people. That's, for me, the fulfillment of life. But we can't undermine the importance of investing into our own well-being and to have gratitude and forgiveness around things in our past and to just be present as best we can. And from my own personal opinion, I think that's the biggest challenge in the human condition is to just stay present and joyous in gratitude. You know, for me, it takes daily effort to do that. But that's effectively a way of being that I like to be in, and I find is the most has the most affinity towards it. You know, although conversely, likes attract likes, and I also find in human connection, because I've been in this spiral also, that I can get pulled towards the lowest common denominator of things that go on. So when I was in very toxic behavior, it was easy for me to put myself into that environment and stay in that swirl, and that, you know, it didn't seem so bad. Conversely, as I look to grow, I find the importance of continue to put myself into a healthy environment and stay in that type of connection. So That one guy was touching me, the one who was sitting on the bench, because his mother did have that happen to her, and I did lose a friend now it's 2 months ago already, who went to work and didn't come back home to his family. The challenge I think we also run into is we think we have time. I don't like to look at things in a morbid way, but the truth of the matter is none of us. So I brought it up on my call this morning. If anyone hasn't seen this documentary on Richard Branson called Don't Look Down, that puts a lot into perspective about being a risk taker and putting himself into a situation a couple of times of life and death just for the sake of branding himself. Extraordinary person, extraordinary documentary, and I'm looking forward towards 2017 and just taking more risks. Yeah.
I'm gonna watch that tonight. Sounds great. You know, the big talk. Am I muted?
No, we can hear you.
Oh, okay. The whole big talk thing, that was something I discovered a little, like maybe like 2 years ago or so. When I was myself having a hard time like socializing in college for the first time, and those like big talk, they actually have like a deck of cards you can get just full of like big talk type of questions. Those are really cool to go through. If you just look on this Big Talk website, I could put the link in the messages there. But if you go through and actually like answer maybe a question just to yourself, write in a journal, or just like think about it every day, just one of these questions about your own self, it kind of like, it really helps with self-development too, and just like really knowing yourself better.
Yeah, her video, I mean, when I saw her first video was through the TED Talks, and her video was about 20 minutes, which I thought was lengthy for this call, but it was a really good video, and she talks about how she was, really uncomfortable talking to people, and just cut the small talk and just go to the big talk. I just think that's so great, just get to the point. Why are we skirting around things when we ask people? Because we're so afraid that, are we going to say the right thing? Are they going to get offended? Are we not going to say the right thing? We get so caught up in our head. We're really not listening to what they're saying. We're listening just to what are we going to answer next? And a lot of times I remember, working in the restaurant business for 18 years, people will tell you their name, and then right a second later, you forget what their name was. It's because you're not listening to what they're saying. You're more so listening on what are you going to say next? Like you're always, and especially living in the East Coast, you're always on the defensive. What are we going to say? What are we going to say? I just feel like if we started listening more and asking bigger questions, people will tell you anything if you ask. And I just feel we will have so much connection with people, and you will get so much more fruitful relationships from it. And anything, if you start doing it with everyone, even with your kids. I mean, I just feel like if we start asking questions, it's not about this list of questions that I have here. This is just a guide. You want to really find out, what are people looking for? What is it? Like, why would they want to do what you're doing? Why? Not everybody's going to be interested in it, but you might find out something, that you might hit their sore spot of what's bothering them in their life, and then you can present the opportunity to them that way. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I think part of it is also kind of getting out of your own head, because if you're sitting there and you're worrying about what you're going to say next, or what's the best thing to say, or how to pose something, or what do I say, you're not present. It's not about being present. And it should just really be this, really, like Stephen says it a lot, just kind of going along with it, talking to get to know people, no agendas. I think sometimes there's agendas, there's, worrying about how you're going to sound and all, and taking the accent off of ourselves and putting it onto the people we're talking to, because ultimately, the whole thing, you help people get what they want, you get what you want. It's just, that's just been, who was it, Jim Rohn? It's just that. It's just being authentic and not being afraid, because there isn't really anything to be afraid about, because it's actually being in service, being a servant leader, being in that capacity.
So what are some of the things that people are finding struggles with? I know a lot of people are wondering why they get so many product users and not so many business builders. What do you think is the disconnect? Do you think you guys are asking the questions? Or are you just, if tell you, oh, I got to lose 20 pounds. Okay, well, you need a president's pack or you need a 30-day, or are you asking deeper questions? That's what I think was the shift for me, because I started asking deeper questions. And not only do I ask deeper questions, I write everything down because I forget, because we talk to so many people. I make sure that I journal everything, every conversation that I'm having with people, just write down things about their kids, write down, because people love to hear the sound of their name. They love to hear when you know what their kids are, who their kids are, how many kids they have, what their job is, what their struggle is. And I go back to people, maybe sometimes right now is not the right time to talk to them about the opportunity, but maybe later on down the road, they'll have a struggle. And I make it more about, I'll just text people out of the blue. It has nothing to do with Isagenix. And they're like blown away. Like, oh my God, you just called me just to see how I'm doing. Yeah, that's, it's not always about Isagenix for me. And once you have human connection with people, I feel like they really are genuinely appreciative of you caring about them. Oh, I heard you weren't feeling well. Is everything okay? You see things people post on Facebook. They talk all about their life on it. It's a great, social way for you to find more information about them. Just inbox people sometimes. It has nothing to do with Isagenix. Hey, I saw your kid just won a game. That's great. Congratulations. Just have conversations with people. And we make it so difficult. Like we talk ourselves out of it, I think, a lot of times. Anyone else want to share or have any questions?
I think a very important thing is for people to keep it simple as well. Not to overcomplicate and try and extrapolate on everything too much, but really keep, if we're speaking about someone in person, that interest that we have in them, to keep that focus. And to keep things simple, because the solution here is actually very, very simple. When people come into this call and they don't know who we are or the products that we're doing, I just had this conversation with Rick and Natasha as well. It's very easy for them to overanalyze, and the questions that they ask, they have this natural need for information and wanting all of it right away, this instant gratification. I need to know everything before I'm signing up. I think it's really important to keep things very, very simple so that people can understand it on a very basic level. With your own sincerity in the product and your belief in the product is going to sell yourself and the product to them. I think that's very important.
I think you hit that on the head, but not only believing in the product, I think you need to believe in yourself.
Of course.
Number one.
When you I think it's so important. You cannot sell this business if you're not using the products. You have to use the products. You have to know your products. Because when you use the products, the feeling that you get from being on these products, it's like a drug, that feel-good drug. When you feel good, you're gonna exude that confidence. And you're going to be able to speak with confidence. So the only thing I would say to anybody who is, if you're going to use these products, you're going to feel how amazing you're going to feel. And you will want to share that with other people, because we all want to make each other feel good. Everybody wants to feel good and feel healthy, right? So that in itself is already a call to action, that feel good. So I think that's very important. Just my 2 cents.
Thanks, Janine.
I think Janine's needs to be on stage very soon. So.
Stop it. But it does feel good, right? I mean, come on.
Want to share or?
It's my first Christmas. No, nothing. Isagenix. It was an Isagenix Christmas.
Mary Isogenic. Is everyone coming to kickoff?
Pardon?
Awesome.
New Year's kickoff, the one in San Antonio, Janine.
All right. We're working on it.
Stephen, you want to talk a little bit about tomorrow?
Sure. So, making a transformation is a full body experience. It's mind, body, spirit, if you will. What I find is, and I love the Healthy Mind and Body program, and I know quite a few people on the call have done it and been in Isagenix for a while. To get from point A to point B, there's a required change in thought to become something different than what we already are. For me, the personal development aspect and the mindset training is a daily thing. So, looking into closing out this year on how we can be in service to people and support growth, Susie and I decided to co-host multiple Zoom calls tomorrow around mindset. So the first one will be at 10 a.m. and 12, every 2 hours, 10 a.m., 12 p.m., 2 p.m., and 4 p.m. I don't have the topics listed out per call right now. It's more of how I feel in the morning. I do have a lot of archived videos from numerous sources. So, I think either I'll feel it out, per call, or just kind of survey, depending on how many people on the call, what's someone looking to gain. Create an intention and start the call that way, and then go to some content, probably in the same format as this. Share a speaker and then open it up for conversation. So it'll be, the Zoom link is in Team Evolution. I may post it on my public wall because, for me with this journey, I'm so passionate about the personal development. It's great that we're all rallying around Isagenix, but I find the mindset piece is for anyone's life. Like if anyone can benefit from learning, some great insights, we can open the call. So feel free to invite anyone onto the call. We just happen to know each other because we have this vehicle of Isagenix that's supporting a lot of growth. And it's, that's how we're connected. So that's what tomorrow is going to look like.
Awesome. And I know Isagenix is going to be kicking off a campaign, Crush Your Goals, starting December 28th. I think Lynn and Michael are doing a call about that tomorrow night as well. So that'll be good. Check your back office for emails about that. Make sure everybody signs up for the IsaBody Challenge. Hi, Nicole's daughter, so cute. Anybody else want to share or want to talk about something that's on their mind? Something related to what we were talking about? I'll post that video that we watched and the TED Talks video that comes first before that in the invitation for this call, or I can actually post it in Team Evolution. Is everybody here on Team Evolution? Okay, perfect.
Can I ask, Stephen, you mentioned Healthy Mind and Body program. Is that a different blog or how?
Yeah, Ginny, that's so you can do it through your back office. You could just Google Isagenix Healthy Mind and Body program and you'll find it. It's $40 to do the 60-day program. And if you complete each module on time, meaning each day, you'll get $45 voucher or coupon in your back office for free product for $45 worth of products. So essentially, it's an accountability, with our identity growth or transformation to help us hit our goals, whatever that is. And then you get it's free if you just stay committed to it and do it each day. So it's about, I'd say, anywhere between 15 minutes to a half hour a day, depending on the module.
I love the personal growth that comes about just by feeling much better. I know that Isagenix is just a vehicle. This is just one part of this journey. And so all the support and everything, it's just getting a handle on everything and knowing where all the links are in the groups. And I know, I've only been in it for 1 month, so I know there's a lot to learn and a lot to catch up on. It's almost like I don't have enough hours in the day to get into everything. But I know every time somebody mentions something, there's something new to look at, and that's really valuable. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
You're busy. You're a busy lady, but yeah, we did talk about mind and body when you were over here, but we
mentioned it, and I did see it now that Stephen mentioned it. I remember it, looking at it.
Janine, if it makes you feel any better, I've been in this on this journey for over 5 years.
Okay.
I've been at trainings, right? And I know with specifically one speaker and it's this exact content. A year later, I had the note. I wrote down the notes. A year later, went back to my notes the year before. I wrote the exact same thing. I didn't hear it the first time around.
Okay.
For whatever reason, there was so much to process.
Right.
And it ended with me a year later. So what I've learned also is as I grow in this, and I'm sure a lot of people could agree with this, sometimes I can only hear what I'm able to hear in that moment. You know, so the great news is that we do have this wealth of resources.
Right.
So knowing isogenicsbusiness.com will link you to everything. So that's the hub. So you could start from there. There's 10 hours of training videos there. There's just so much, there's a lot to learn. And what's excellent, everyone knows this on the call, is we get to earn as we're learning, as opposed to when I went to undergrad for 4 years, I came out with debt. Here, 4 years of learning, I came out with a significant change in my income.
Right. So yeah, I mean, I appreciate this because as I'm learning, it's developing everything that I'm doing, both in my own business, and it just so happens that the ethics of what I'm doing within Isogenics so closely mirrors what I'm doing within my own health practice. This is just such a synergy. And it's so great to be able to share this because my interest in people's health and well-being is core. The money is great, but that's not the focus. It's about providing something where people can become healthier. That's important for me. So that's why I'm really excited. Thank you.
Your authenticity will take you to places unimaginable.
Yeah, so, well, we'll see where it goes. I hear sky's the limit.
That's right. All right, so I want to be mindful for everyone's time. Does anyone want to share anything else, or we're good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so tomorrow Stephen and I will be hosting 4 training calls starting at 10 o'clock. They're mindset training calls, 10, 12, 2, and 4. And we'll post it in Team Evolution once again. So thanks for getting on the call, guys. It was really fun, and it was great seeing everyone. Happy holidays, and if I don't see you guys, Happy New Year. I hope to see you in San Antonio. Good night.
Thank you, Susie.